How's it going? I'm Jeremy with I Am Sound, and today I'm going to show you some tips and tricks and how to have a whole lot of fun with this right here. This is our best-selling flute, the F-sharp 432 Hertz drone flute. You can see I have a few options right here. We have a lot in stock, and by now, if you've watched my Flutorial, you should already know how to walk the scale. So I'm just going to go through that really quick for this Flutorial 2.0, which is going to show you some tricks and how to have more fun. So I'll get a little bit closer. To walk the scale, you got to cover all the holes. So you can see this here is covered by default, that's the drone. And this here is where you walk the notes. You can see I added a couple tricks in there. I was doing a little bit of a half note, also tapping on them. But to walk the scales, remember you start from the bottom, then you leave that ring finger there, and you're lifting this one on the pentatonic scale, and then that one. Some of the other flutes will lift this way, but just know you gotta walk it this way first, and then when you get to the left hand, leave that ring finger down and lift this one and that one. So one more time. And you can even play this as a single. You see there's two holes. So often I'll start the solo this way. So we're getting into tricks now. I'm gonna start it as a single, and then you just blow people's minds with the drone. Often if it's a sound bath and their eyes are closed, they'll think there's multiple people playing, especially if you have our triple. I mean, if you think this is versatile, you gotta see the triple drone. There's so much you can do, switching hands, plugging holes. But here we go. So I'm gonna start on this side, the single, sneak in the drone, and show you our first trick, which is fluttering. That's when you make an R in Spanish. So if you say tierra, do a whisper like tierra. So now I'll just start a solo here and sneak in some of that with the drum. So you gotta try and roll your R's. Some people have a hard time with it, but once you get that, you can vocal overtone, and I'll teach you that in another trick, but just whisper like tierra. Speaking of tierra, tierra means earth, and this frequency, F sharp in 432 Hertz, actually matches the frequency of the earth. So it's a really special flute. And now the next trick I'm gonna show you is how to play with the air volume. So when I start a solo, and even when I'm sound testing these flutes, I always start slow. So you breathe in very soft, and then you feel out the octave. If, for example, if it's a failed sound test, we've had some flutes not pass, they will jump octaves too quick. So that'll happen if you blow really hard into it with any flute, like, see how it just jumps up high? But you gotta start soft, like, and play with the volume until you reach that, you know, jump to the next octave. So here we go. I'm going to just play around with volume. So that's playing around with the volume. You can also do, what I like to do is just practice really walking the scale fast, so you can really go up and down. Make sure you're staying in that metronome, that rhythm, but sometimes you can just like start here on the high one and then quickly do your walking fast like this. So it's hard, you gotta practice it, get really familiar with the muscle memory. And again, it's super important to cover these holes. So in our first Flutorial, I showed how even just the slight movement of one of these upper fingers especially will throw off the whole note. So watch this. That's when it starts to sound bad. People get frustrated because They start playing thinking it's going to sound good, but usually it's because they're not covering these holes. You got to keep them airtight. And remember the sequence, it's walking this way. You can play with different ways, but if you're just off up here or even here, it's going to mess the whole thing up. So remember to cover those holes. And now the next trick I'm going to show you is vocal overtoning. This is so fun to do with the bigger flutes, but you can even do it in this. So try and find out what this note is, the F sharp, when you blow into it, all covered. Feel that in your vocals and try and match it, like. Or you could even do a lower octave of that, like. See how I changed? You match chords too, false chords. In saxophones, they call it growling. So I'm just going to start low and play around like a school choir boy and match. So what you're doing is you're actually singing into the flute, like humming while you blow. But I kind of like to do it high on this one. With the A3, it's so fun to mess around with, but try it on the higher vocal as well. And the last trick I'll show you as a bonus, I often lift this top finger sometimes as a beat, and it adds kind of a fun little gap in between the notes I'm playing. So watch this. So have fun with that top finger. These are advanced tricks. I hope you re-watch this many times and have a lot of fun with your F sharp 4 432 drone flute.